Hello, hello. This is Pastor Tony, Senior Pastor of Refuge Community Church. It's the place that people of God call home because, as you know what? There's no place like home. Hey, I want to check this out. I want to welcome you to another segment of Pastors on the Go. Like I always say, you never know where I'll be or what wonderful guests I have an opportunity to speak to. This particular time, in honor of February Black History Month, I'm actually speaking to a good friend, a brother of mine, Brother Juston Barnett. I want to thank you for taking time to just stop by and just grace us with your presence and knowledge and stuff. And one of the things that I like about Juston Barnett, why I wanted to come through and have the opportunity to speak with him and just tap into some things, is he just basically has a mandate. He has a vision on a mission to educate about our lost history. You know, I followed a lot of the videos and things you've done on social media. It's been very educational, but enlightening to just bring about different things about our lost history. And what I'd like to do, just first off in the introduction, just share what is our lost history. What does that mean?
Well, thank you for having me again. What basically our lost history symbolizes is I came up with a group name. It's on Facebook, Our Lost History. Is because us coming in America, we don't know our history story of who we are.
Okay.
Everything down from us coming over here in 1555 during the first slave trade, all the way up into the civil rights movement, and even into now, we have been blinded. And we don't really know our history of who we are as Black America. So I thought it would be very, very imperative for me to create that group. So it serves as a function for information to be released about our history, not just here in America, but even in other countries abroad.
Okay, I know a lot of things you've touched on. It's been quite enlightening and so forth and so on. I know that it's not something to generate violence or things of that nature, or hatred, but it's something more or less to bring enlightenment. And when you have enlightenment, then you can have pride in your history, your culture, and you actually can be better at doing whatever. It doesn't matter if you're, or let's say, working as, cleaning, sweeping the floor or running a company. But when you know your history, your lineage, your history, you can be better at what you're doing because you have a sense of pride in what you're doing. Tell us a little bit about your journey. What brought this about?
Well, what brought this about is I've been humbled to join a plethora of organizations. In particularly African American historic organizations. And honestly, this all became about when I became initiated into Prince Hall Freemasonry. It served as a catalyst to really for me to really open up and to see who we really are. Not even only that, as a Black man growing up in America and just seeing a lot of disparities that we go through, from watching the news on television to being us being portrayed in negative limelight, it really opened up the door for me at the age of 24 to really say, okay, why are we always being shadowed and being something negative? So with the aid and assistance of Prince Hall Freemasonry, I was able to open up that avenue. And it started with me reading the scripture, which, is the ruling God of our faith. And the more I started reading, the more I wanted to know. And I'm 31 now, so approximately 6 or 7 years have passed since then. And it just intrigues me how far our history goes back and the people that we are and the great things that we have done.
Yeah, I know one of your most recent videos that I actually saw, you were actually talking about Black History Month, and a lot of people don't know that. Some people even complain, "Hey, we only have 1 month. We only have 1 month." But one of the things that you reiterated is, you be thankful for the fact that we have a month, because actually, in its origin, we only had a week.
Yes. Black History Month, as you may know, started with Dr. Carter G. Woodson, historian, author, philanthropist. He originally had a vision to start Black History Week. This actually started this in February of 1926. Just to even show you the severity of that need course, it developed into Black History Month. But even after he did that, it didn't become Black History Month. Didn't become a national recognized. It wasn't nationally recognized really until 1976 through the tutelage and administration of President Gerald Ford. So right there, that tells you that there's a disconnect somewhere. For us to have Black History Week and evolve into a month, and then for it to not be recognized until 50 years later, that's another reason why we need to tell our story, and that's another reason why I created this organization.
Oh, okay. So I know you do a lot of traveling. You know, out of state, just basically all over the country. You've met a lot of people. You know, you've been in a lot of different places, and I kind of, like I said, I travel in those different places by watching you being where you are and what you're sharing, information you're sharing. I've received a wealth of knowledge. Who are some of the people that you've actually met in person?
In person, I've been fortunate enough to meet 5 living civil rights activists who played a very, very vital and pivotal role during the civil rights movement.
Okay.
Most respectively from 1961 to 1965. They are as follows: Dr. Alexander Brown. He, long story short, he's a retired professor and educator from Prairie View and University of Houston, actually born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. Mm-hmm. And he was very, very pivotal for his participation in the Children's March and in the March on Selma that occurred March 7, 1965. Also, I've met Dr. Bernard Lafayette, who was his mentor, who was one of the original Freedom Riders. Is a very, very proud alpha man, and he also has a book out called In Peace and in Freedom, because he used to work with Dr. King.
Okay.
When Dr. King formulated the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in 1957. I've also met Dr. Virgil Wood, who also helped Dr. King, worked with him for 10 years and worked on his national executive board of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Okay. In addition to that, I also met John Lewis. Wow. Congressman John Lewis out of the 5th Congressional District of Atlanta, Georgia, who, one of the original Freedom Riders. Here's what a lot of people don't know. John Lewis sacrificed a lot in being that he was arrested over, I think, roughly 46 times and beaten on the Edmund Pettus Bridge during the Selma March for rights that we still abuse today. And the last civil rights activist I've met is a Dr. Charles Vert Willey, a professor emeritus from Harvard University. He and Dr. King entered Morehouse together in 1944 when they obtained their bachelor's degrees and came out in 1948 together. So for me to meet these 5 men, it's been an experience of itself. I never thought growing up that I would actually meet Black history legends who actually have made an impact to us as a people and in this country.
Okay, that's real good. So as we kind of wind up this video, I said there's going to be a lot of people that actually see this, and like I said, you know, whenever an opportunity to sit down and interview with someone like such as yourself, I always like to pull out motivations and passions and stuff. And what I would like to ask for you, what can you say when you look at the camera? You're talking about our lost history. What can you say is as a defining point or something to motivate people to research, or why should someone take an interest in our history?
Well, we should really, history, look at what history means. History, his story, it's a story that we're telling. And we do not know our history. We cannot rely on America to tell it for us. We have the greatest history story known to man, as being the beginners of civilization, from everything from building the White House to creating the world's first almanac to building the pyramids. That's our history, and it's untold. You know, when you look at a lot in history, you know, a lot of things are overshadowed by images, and images do affect self-esteem. A lot of our history has been hidden from us, so we don't know how great of a people we are. And it's really, very, very imperative that I created this group so that we'll be able to understand where we come from. When we look at a lot of things going in America, from Black people being disenfranchised, through our dealings through law enforcement, why are we always the spotlight? Well, the answer is, the spotlight is because we're the beginners of everything. And this nation could not exist if it wasn't for Black people. Black history is American history, and the story needs to be told.
Wow. There you have it. Juston Barnett, Our Lost History. Black history is our history. Hey, this is Pastor T, another segment of Pastor on the Go. Remember, we care about you.
Absolutely.
God bless.